We're here today with Josh from YourAble. And as you guys know, I've been talking about payment systems, telling you what switched me and why, you guys who still taking cash, Zelle, Cash App, Venmo, it's cool, but that's not a real business, guys. You know what I'm saying? You need to get you a system. And I'm going to show you what exactly I use. Josh gives a rundown here. It's 2026. The season's about to start, and get paid the right way. You don't want to end up going into 2027 still with the same problem, unpaid invoices, chasing payments. So, Josh, what up, man? Go ahead and introduce the software and tell us how you're doing.
Awesome. How's it going? Well, I'm doing much better now. It's been a last crazy few weeks, crazy year basically. But I appreciate the time here today and kind of wanted to take you guys through YourAble as a platform. A quick introduction. So my name's Josh. I've been with YourAble for about almost 2 years now. I did the lawn care landscape thing for a while with my dad back in the day. Ended up going to school, working in another industry, pharma industry, for about 10 years, and here I am back in this space. YourAble as a whole, we originally built it for the automotive industry, but it really fits a lot of the field service industries really well. But our whole motto is we want to kind of build from user feedback. So that's kind of the first thing I'll mention is everything you guys see here today was built from you guys and people within the industries that just based off of what they actually need to do their jobs. And really, the main goal behind YourAble is to ultimately give you guys time back, right? Every business owner spends countless hours working in the business, on the business, but we want to just try and simplify a lot of those things so you can get your time back and spend, your life living a little bit instead of always just working.
Yeah, so let me interject on that just a little bit, Josh.
Yeah.
I ran YourAble all 2025 last year, and I can vouch for that getting your time back. I really felt like I took on some better quality, more work, but I wasn't as stressed. I was able to input it, man, and it was like having a secretary with me almost, man. And it made the system so smooth, so enjoyable. I was with a free software. And you guys just made that transition easy, even when it came to switching my customers over to join you guys. So go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, you can see the screen here. This is the browser view of YourAble, but we do also have an app. And how we build it is you're going to have the same functionality on a mobile device as you do on desktop. So anything that you can do on desktop that you see here today, you can do from a phone, from a tablet. If you're out in the field, because last thing you guys are really doing is carrying around a PC while you're cutting grass and doing yard work. So the interface is very user friendly. You'll see this add button at the bottom. A lot of times, this is how you can access most everything that you need. But it's also very customizable. We have a lot of preferences built out, so you can, the branding. This is kind of how all the forms will be sent, whether it's a payment request, an approval request, a quote. You can kind of match your business style, your coloring, your logo is all attached here. There's a lot of also things that you can build out within each individual job. You can include documents if you have service agreements or contracts that you want to embed to have customers sign off on. Even some automated messaging. This is very customizable with dynamic fields that you can put in here. So you can write it so as though you're saying it. We want to make it fit the way that you guys are currently doing business, not really change your current processes. Just make them a little bit more efficient.
One more second, Josh, up there where you say documents. So, guys, when he says documents, this is where you could drop your documents in, all terms, services of agreements. So it's no confusion on what's going on when it comes to the seasonal work that you're about to provide a customer. And once you drop those documents in, you'll see once they sign and approve, it's basically a contract, guys. You know what I'm saying? So makes it simple. So go ahead, Josh. I'm sorry. But,
yeah.
I'm just at the eyes of a lot of landscaper right now while you're going through it.
Absolutely. And, a lot of guys also just don't know where to start with documents. I mean, AI has come a long way. Check out ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude. There's a bunch out there that you can at least get a basic starting point. I mean, you got paralegals that are using AI to build out documents. So you can build out a pretty good framework, but then utilize the system to get an electronic signature off on those terms and conditions. So that way everything's ironed out. There's no confusion. And it takes your business to the next level just with professionalizing things. So a lot of customizations within here, and even some things like with the approval process. When you send a quote to a customer, you can set it up to automatically collect a payment method on file. So tons of
That's
different
what guys
options.
really want to hear right there. Collecting that payment on file. Let me tell you, that
Absolutely.
stopped me guys from chasing money. Oh my goodness. When you know what you got on deck for the day and you can actually get that at the end of the day, it's a different motivation, guys. When you got that burnout, that'll stop a little bit of that burnout.
Oh, for sure. Last thing, you're going out doing all the work. Last thing you want to do is come home and have to make sure you're sending out every single invoice manually, tracking the payments, making sure, figuring out who paid, who didn't pay, and or even collecting, checks and going around collecting cash and stuff. Yeah, it's nice to have that, but at the end of the day, you also want to, support the longevity of your business. You need to show that you're earning some money so you can actually grow and get loans and get more equipment and kind of build on it and add employees. So we try and help automate a lot of that process as well. So lots of preferences, but I'll start that with also, we do offer a lot of help and assistance with getting this stuff into the system, getting started within the system. I know you mentioned, customers, right? So there's a customers tab up here. If you guys have, a database on your customers, we can help export from your current system and import all that information over, the customer profile, whether that's addresses, contact information. But there's some cool things within the customer profile that you can see. So any measurements that you do on a property, you can track that as a property section. You can come in and also track all the documents that you sent them. You can look at all the jobs that you've done with them. Payments, so you can see which ones are paid, which ones are pending. So you can go customer by customer to track all this information within here. But we can help you get those customers uploaded free of charge.
And once I switched over, guys, Josh, it kind of surprised me. He was able to even pull up my old customers. So I even have a contact for all my old customers again now that I use whenever the season comes out. This season, I'll be using to resend to everybody and try to get them back, man. So I've, as you know, we run into a lot of customers over the years. You may be running to 400 customers. You maybe got 40 now. But sending that extra text out, that extra mass message out, you might can put some people back on schedule. Some things might not have worked for them the last couple of years. They might have forgot about you, and now you can pull a customer back in.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the other part of the idea with just using systems in general, right? Is it just frees up your time to be doing more of the stuff that matters. One, focusing on your current customers, focusing on your work, and also two, just maybe outreach, maybe marketing, maybe building out route density, and so you can build out more customers and then ultimately get more jobs, right? We're trying to free up the administrative boring tasks that you have to do to run your business, but it opens up more time for you to actually grow and work on the business.
I tell you guys, it probably 15 hours a week doesn't seem like much, but you feel it at the end of the week.
Absolutely. And then the other piece of it, once your customers are loaded in there, it's building out your products and services. So we have some blanket ones in here, but this is obviously something you want to build out to fit kind of what you offer. And again, we offer help and support to get you comfortable with this. But there's a few different ways you can build it out. You can build it out, if you just have mowing, you can put imagery along with it that'll carry over with these services. You can customize the description. You can price it as a per unit and have the system do some math on the measurements, or you can even build out labels. So if you have set prices for acre, half acre, quarter acre, things like that, you can set labels so that it's easily selectable when you're building out a quote.
Yes, and then let me stop you right there again, Josh, because I'm looking at it again from a lot of landscape guy. I just figured out my pricing formula. So now I can put my pricing formula into what YourAble is. Instead of having to go out a lot, having to check a property, waste gas. Now, all you have to do is you view that property. Once you view it, you already know what it is based on your formula. You drop it in there, you can get your estimate back ASAP.
Yep, absolutely. Trying to just make that more efficient. Obviously, there's some properties you want to walk, but at least, it gives you a good idea to just get a quick number out the door. because that's the name of this game, right? Everyone wants stuff quick these days, right? So if you take a few days to respond back to a quote request or pricing request for a job, you might lose that business, right? So the quicker you can respond to that, the better chance of winning over that customer you have.
The actual, he'll probably get into it in a second, but the system that they have to measure a yard, to me, is one of the best measuring systems. I hadn't had too many systems where I could look down and actually see the mulch on the property. I can see where the rock is and the bushes is on the property. I've been able to see it where YourAble, so he'll probably get in that in a second. But guys, I'm telling you, efficiency.
Absolutely, yeah. And one other thing I'll mention here, when you're building out this, the products and services, here's the labels, but there's also an estimated duration. So you probably have a rough idea of what it takes for you to do acre, half acre, right? So throw some of those in there, because this will come to whenever you're building out your routes and optimizing your day. As I'll go through the system and kind of show you that here. So, that's the heaviest lift, right? So it's really building out your product and service and your customers. And again, I'll jump ahead here. We do have a help center to help you guys get set up with all this. We have tutorials, there's videos you can look in to watch how to do all these things. There's live support. We pride ourselves on being available to help you guys kind of learn the system, because that's the biggest hurdle with anything. If you're switching even over from pen and paper, just learning technology. And then also you can book, Q&As, you can book meetings with our team and hop on as many as you need until you're comfortable with this. So we don't charge for any of those things. We also don't charge for users within the system. You can have, as you grow, and your business grows, you add employees, you can add them in here free of charge. We don't really limit on any of those things. So as you can see, like, this is our standard calendar view, and you can color coordinate these things, or there's some sister system colors that go in here. But I'll kind of walk you through the process of what it is for creating a job.
I even like, you see how he has the month right there, guys. You can click to the week, and I use the week a lot. No, it's the day. I'm sorry. I think agenda. There we go.
Agenda. Yep.
I'm sorry. So sometimes here's what it is: agenda, and you basically see right there where he has for the week what he's going to make, and per day what he has on his mowing. This right here was one of the real game changers for me. It motivated me. It had me like reverse engineering, trying to make numbers for the week. As if, at first, say where he has 1,400. Now my mind frame is, hey, I need to try to make 2,000 a week. What type of customer do I need to fit in? Let me go back and look at the agenda and see who I can fill in on days where I wouldn't be as tired to try to make that 2,000, a weekly quota if I wanted to make it. So this right here, guys, I'm telling you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And again, it's whatever you kind of see fit. Like, if you like looking at agenda, that's what works for you, motivates you. Great. Yeah. If you're working, moving stuff around a lot, maybe you got to look a little bit further out. We have that flexibility within here, and then even a map view, which I'll show you down here in a little bit, but this is kind of where you can come in and build out some routes and stuff. So again, like this add button down here, right? So once we have our customers, products, services in here, you can click this add button, and then you create a quote or a job. So there's a few characteristics within there. You can put a title. So I'll just go through and use myself. We'll call it Smith Weekly Mowing. And then the customer is, you select the customer. And this is all based off of, once your customers are in here, this is searchable. So we come down, say Smith. We'll select myself here. And then you select this property section. So as you go through and build out your customer profiles and do these measurements, these are all saved in here. So if you're doing things like garden beds and you're calculating mulch work for them, once you do that and do those measurements, this is saved in here. So I know this customer has 5 cubic yards. That's what I got to order when I go to do this again next year. So if we're starting from scratch, you can customize this list if you're only working front yard, backyard, or if it's the whole yard in certain sections. But you'll see you'll be able to select this and then click this edit button up here. And then I'll click this use lot size. It'll spin a little bit here because I'm on development, but it's a lot quicker whenever you're on the production one.
Oh, guys, it works like, it's fast. It's like just as fast as your FaceTime.
So. Yeah, and so this is, we built out. This is integrated with parcel data, right? So whatever Zillow, Realtor, and them use to kind of plot the lines on a property boundary. When you go and look at those apps, we found the back end system that they use for that, and we integrated that within YourAble. So that way you can come in here, punch in an address, and get a quick idea. What am I working with? Am I working with an acre, half acre? So I have a starting point and idea if you want to get a quote out the door. And then if you click on this measurements tab, you'll see it'll actually plot the boundaries, the polygon on that property. And then you can.
And one quick interjection, because
Yeah.
some guy's gonna say, because this technology again. I don't deal with acreage. I deal with square footage.
Yeah. Yep.
Is
So
it easy to be able to convert that?
Absolutely. So right now you see this acre, square footage right here. Right here's acres below it, right? So there's both units of measure for whatever way that you're working. We try to add all that functionality in there. So yeah, lots of options. And then if you want to come in and manually measure as well, so let's say you're doing some treatment work and you need to be a little bit more accurate, you can come in here, click create a measurement, and just click through the different sections and kind of create your own measurement for the sections you're working on. And then once you close that loop, you'll see that it'll give you a selected area, the square footage there. But what's cool is whenever you save all of this, this is also going to carry over to the customer whenever you send the quote. So that way there's no confusion. So if you have a certain part of property you're working on and you're quoting that for them, you send that over to them, they can actually click in on the link and see all of these measurements that you did. You can even color coordinate some of the sections. So, if we're actually doing some mulch, over in this area, you want to measure, some of the mulch beds, you can actually color coordinate some of these different areas, different terminology with it to kind of build out all these measurements.
And Josh, it's so funny, man, because I had a lot of my older customers that they were kind of on the fence. It's technology.
Yeah.
They were on the fence. I introduced them to this. I sent it over to one of my customers. She's one of my favorites. I sent it over to her. She's real old school, Josh, and she loves the system. She tells me, wow, I can actually, she says, it looks like it's coming from you. She said, I see it. I see everything you did. I can see my signature. I can see my payment where I make them. She said, and I'm glad because I don't have to worry about getting you paid. That was the main thing. It surprised me. She wanted to get me paid. So we're out here working, guys. You don't know how valuable service is. People depending on you. And we think we're making their life easier. A good customer wants to make your life just as easy also. They respect your work. So
oh yeah, and I think it's a big hesitation because we always run through these scenarios in our head. What are my customers going to think of this? You don't know until you present it to them. And most people appreciate just the organization, the formality of it, right? Of having everything professionalized and put together. They really value that as well, and it puts you a step above your competition. Which again, that's the other goal with this is we want to give you guys the opportunity to be able to charge your prices, right? And if you can set yourself at a higher standard, it's just another reason for you to be able to charge what you're worth.
Yeah, and another thing, like you said, with your prices and just getting paid, I even won a customer over because they had a guy they would have to go get the cash from, and just the convenience of we don't want to have to ride over there to pay him, and sometimes it's an inconvenience for him to come to meet us. It made it simple, and I ended up winning a customer because of the simplicity of how the payment system was. So systems, guys.
Yeah. So I know we took a lot of time on the measurements, but once you get that kind of in there, it's really quick to come back to. But I'll just touch on this too. Also, we built in like a mulch calculator here. So when you have some sections that are measured out, and obviously we're talking about a whole acre covering a mulch, but you can put a depth on here. So if we're doing 2 inches of mulch, it'll actually do some math around calculating the actual cubic yards that you need for that install, doing 3 inches for new install, things like that. But once you click that checkbox, then it's going to save that property measurement, carry it over your quote, and then you're just selecting your services, right? So if we know that this is an acre, we could come down here to our mowing and we could select the acre, or we can let it, do the per unit and let it do some math. So I'll just select the label one here, just for sake of example. And all of this again is customizable. So this is whatever you put in your product services at kind of what we call a global level. But if you want to customize this for each individual quote, you just click this edit button, and you can add any text that you want within here. So that way, if it's a certain service you're offering for a particular customer, you want those notes within here. You can change the description accordingly. And then pricing as well. So if it's a more difficult lot, it's away from your standard prices. This is easy enough to just adjust and charge right here, whatever you want.
Another good thing, Josh, it throws in it helped me out big time. My sales tax. So it was basing my sales tax off of my state, and which was a great thing because I was already getting my taxes taken out. My CPA, once I handed over my taxes this year, made it very easy for them. So
yeah, No, it's awesome. I mean, yeah, we have those options in here, so you can collect tax even within the fees, the credit card processing fees. If you want to add them in there as a separate line item, you can. I still always recommend rolling that into your prices. Less line items, less questioning, less
Yeah.
concerns with the customers, but each your own.
That will be included this year in my fees.
We have the flexibility to build it out as ever, any way you want. Even if you want to apply adjustment, you can even put a discount or credits to kind of show some incentives. So if you have promos you want to run for your business for, first time cuts, things like that, new customers, you have all that flexibility built within the system. And then, if this isn't enough space, even if they're on your own mobile, you can expand or collapse this, but you could schedule at this point, you can assign crew members, or you can just save this. And let's say we want to send this over to the customer for their approval. So when you save this, you can click in on the job. This is kind of the job view. It expands it. It's going to give a street view of the property, so you know which property you're actually working on. It'll have all the customer contact information here, the address, all the quote details, the measurements. They can click in and see that. And then you can schedule from here as well. But let's say we want to send this for them to sign off as a new customer. This is where we get into our approvals. So you can click add button at the bottom, click approval. And there's some cool functionality within here. So you can add a title, comments if you want to add some notes, if there's something you talked about with them in particular. You can set expiration dates for, if this quote's only good for 30 days. But this is where, when we talked about those documents at the beginning, if you want to include documents here, you can, launch your service contract. You can even do, we do photos. We have inspections. You can do before and after photos. So if you do go walk the lot, take some photos and want to include that, especially from where the project work, you can attach those there and do kind of before and after photos. And then you can send this over via, email, SMS, or both. If you're there in person as well, you can have them.
Usually both.
Yeah, you can have them sign off on the screen too if you want it. But I'll just send this over.
That's the thing, guys, too, because it's a lot of people. Like I say, they're kind of. You might got some people who's back on technology. They don't check their emails as much. When he says both, I've had customers sign up through mobile text messaging, signature come through. I had people sign up through email, signature come through. So, and once the agreement's made, you're ready to start services. So,
absolutely. So there's two areas.
Good go ahead. On mobile.
It does.
Josh. It looks very good. The same way it's looking on this computer is the same exact way it looks on mobile. No, nothing different.
Yep.
Exact same.
Yeah, our developer is very particular with the interface and the flow of things, and so when we built that out, it was built intentionally to make sure there's no differences between mobile, because everyone's on phones anymore, right? Not many people are on the computer, desktop.
Phones are the computer now. So.
Yep, absolutely. So you'll be able to see the statuses of these approvals. You can click in and kind of see the format of what this would look like. This is the exact view the customer will have, and I'll kind of pull over this screen.
That's what they love, Josh. This right here, this screen right here has been a game changer for my business. People see this, and it's as if they're right inside of the store almost.
Yep,
that's how they feel. That's how people feels like they paying right at the counter. So.
Yeah, and so I'll approve this here just for a minute on my end and just kind of show you, the update of what it looks like, right? I just clicked approve. You see that this is approved. It's a live update, right? So you see the customer signature, just chicken scratch here, but it is time and date stamped. So is a custom link that gets sent to that customer profile. You have information on when they opened it, when they signed it, they're electronically signing this, and they get a notification that pops up that they're agreeing to your terms and conditions. So you can link your terms and conditions as well within the system, but also if you're including documents here, this is like an electronic sign off on those documents. So you're agreeing to everything, you're agreeing to the prices, like I said, the measurements as well. They can click in and see all that. It's a very modern interface and kind of a modern way of sending quotes and getting them to sign off. The other piece that's cool is, it's collecting that car on file, right? So this is the step in which you get that car on file. So then once you're getting them started for the season, you don't have to come back in here and get send a payment request all the time. You can just charge that card on file every single time once the work's done.
And guys, once the card gets on file, you don't have to keep sending back to get them to re-sign every time. It's done. And one thing that I want you to pay attention to, when Josh just did that, it clicked it. You seen no information. Only thing you seen was a signature. a lot of you guys get confused that you know, the customer's gonna see, they're scared you may see some information or anything like that. No, they see what they see on their end, you get what you get on your end, and then you guys go in a partnership basically. So
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, so right, so we got the quote, we got it sent out, they approved on it. So now it's a matter of getting it scheduled, right? So you can schedule it within here if you wanted to, you know, adjust the start stop date.
yeah.
Most of the time,
Before you
yeah,
say
yeah,
something, one more cutoff, guys. I'm sorry. I'll tell you right there where it says where you got all your scheduling and stuff, and it says assign. Now, Josh will probably explain it more, but you're gonna make sure that you assign. This is one thing that I had to make sure I was doing. Make sure when you get these customers signed, make sure you assign the job to you, or if you have a crew, make sure you're assigning that so it'll be visible on schedule, so you'll be able to throw that into the route density calculator. So you
yep,
have to assign it to somebody, or you might not see it. That's one thing I noticed, Josh. So just want to throw
yeah,
that in there.
absolutely. Yeah, I'll show you. So you could schedule from here. I'll just kind of come back from this screen and show you. So as you sent that quote, right, you're going to have this upper right corner here. You can see all the quotes that you can send. You can see a live update approval pending, whether it's approved. And then let's say we wanted to kind of schedule that. You know, we can click and hold this, and then it's kind of living within the mouse if you're on a desktop. Be like, all right, we want to set them up for, let's say it's a Friday cut. And then it's just a drag and drop. And it'll pull up this screen here. And then, you know, by default, we have all the lawn care jobs just default to all day. You can actually set start stop times if you wanted. Most of the time, people are just, you just want a day that you're going out there,
I
right?
just schedule it. I schedule it. This is one of the key parts too. Once
Absolutely,
you
right?
schedule, oh my goodness.
One time for the season. You're not going to have to go back and do this again. So you set this up, you toggle this repeat button on and set this
Yep.
up as, you know, if this is weekly, you can do that way. You can even do, you know, bi-weekly, you can do once a month. You can set up all these customizations and have this repeat, you know, for the season. So you could, you have say, no, we're doing this, you know, up in, I'm in Pennsylvania. So we'll say we do this until, I don't know, call it the end of October. And then what it's going to do, and then we'll talk about this assign one, right? So you can add resources. So if you have, you know, a mowing crew, let's assign myself, and we'll assign Michael Scott over here. And then you just go ahead and click save. And then it'll ask if you want to just leave it as a quote or schedule status. If you click schedule, it's going to go in and put that job on every single day, repeating for Friday for the entirety of the season here. So as you go forward,
go back into that screen if you don't mind, real quick, and I'll show you guys something else. So say if you got a rainy day or the schedule's getting pushed back. So Josh, now you can't mow on the 13th. You need to move that over to say the 16th now.
yeah.
Once he moves it over to the 16th, it's going to move over for the whole season now.
So you this is going to prompt that, right? So if you want to apply that changes to all recurring jobs, if you're shifting them for the rest of the season and you click yes, it's going to then shift every single one of those jobs over to the new day of the week.
Guys, and I'm telling you, that's one of the nice key things I liked. I was having to go in on the older software I was using and change that a lot. No, that's automated to where, okay, they were going on a Friday. Now you had to move them around to Monday. Now they're back on Monday for the rest of the year without you having to go back in the schedule and worrying about did anything get adjusted. It's there.
Yep, exactly. And if it's just a one-time adjustment, right? Let's say we just want to adjust this. We just click no, and it's only going to move that single occurrence. So then all the other ones will stay the same date. If it's just that way, you don't have to shift everything around. Right. So let's say, you know, we got our jobs kind of built out. That's it. You know, as you move things around, there's the automated notifications within the system. So those reminders, you can see which ones are toggled on for each job. If it's a job scheduled reminder, that's going to go out basically whenever you first schedule that. So you're kind of letting them know the day of the week, hey, we're going to be coming out on Mondays. Job reminders you can build in here to basically have it go either the day before, an hour before, and that's going to be the reminder of like, hey, we're coming out. You know, you can. I think I have some customization here, like, you know, yeah, clean up your dog poop and toys, make sure that's out of the yard. Yeah. Just if you have some of those customers that are like that, right? And you can toggle these on and off for each individual customer, so it doesn't have to be the same for every single one. But if you have those certain customers that you know you have to remind and keep in the loop, you can absolutely do that. If it's project work, you know, you can do a job completed or a rate and review. I wouldn't recommend keeping that on for a repeating job because you don't want to blow up your customers every week with that. But you can have this link to your Google profile, Facebook profile if you're trying to build up your reviews, especially for new customers and or project-based work, and kind of have that automate the response there. So it'll send it out once it's done, and then you can kind of have that build up some reviews for your business. And then, the other part of this, I mentioned kind of the status colors within this, the system, right? So we have the green that's marked as completed. You'll see this kind of follows these templates up at the top. So once it's scheduled, you're going to see blue if it's in progress. If you wanted to do that, and or if you have crews out there and you want to see if what they're working on, you can kind of train them on the process to either, clock in or clock out on the job. And then once it's completed, it'll go to green. And I'll just kind of walk you through the routing, right? So that's over on this map view within the system. So if we look at our calendar, let's go to like the 11th here. This is going to pull up all the jobs that we have assigned on that day. And like you mentioned there, if you don't have jobs assigned, you actually can see them here. There's an option, you just have to toggle down in here. You can click unassigned. So you can see if there's any jobs on that day on the calendar that are not assigned, and maybe I have to assign this one. So if you click up list view, you'll be able to see this. You can do some bulk edit. So if you want to assign the route, let's say we assign this to our mowing crew, myself and Michael Scott, and then we'll save this. And then if we come back here, now that's basically going to show up. Now that's on our route here. I
use this a lot, Josh, on my agenda thing. When you go back to like kind of your agenda for the day. Okay, yeah. Go back to how you pulled that up. You just did it right there, perfect.
Yep.
So I would do this, guys, right here. You're seeing basically everything right here. I would use this, and sometimes you might got 10, 11 yards for the day. It's going to show every yard you got on there, and then at the top you can see, start route or even optimize your route. So.
Yeah, the way this works is it's just going off of whatever jobs you have scheduled for that day. But this is where you'll see working and total hours, travel time. You can click optimize route, and it's going to reorder these in the most efficient way of getting these jobs done. You can edit the start or stop location. So if you're starting from, a gas station, supply house, or something like that, you want to re-optimize the route from there, you can absolutely do that. Otherwise, it's going to just default to your home business address. And then you'll see, that working time, that's going off of what we had built in from our products and services. That's why I mentioned capturing that earlier. If you know what it takes for you to do an acre, half acre, things like that.
Let me say one more thing. So say you might have a morning, something happens that morning. You got to go get some supplies across town that is unexpected. You can, whichever yard you're close to then, you can just get in there, type that yard that you're close to, go to that property first, you hit the optimize. It's still going to make you a route that's efficient for that day.
Yep.
So you can adjust it right on the spot. And once again, exactly how he's doing on the computer, no confusion. It looks exactly like this on your phone screen.
For sure. And there's some cool things you can do. We built some bulk edit functionality within the routing view here. You can send on my way messages if you wanted, and this is actually going to pull an ETA. Look, it's prompting me to, allow my address. And that's going to fetch actual ETA information if you have some customers that you want to kind of provide that information for. You don't have to utilize that functionality. It's all in here if it's an option that you would like to use. And you can go job by job. You can, clock in, like I said, if you're in progress, you can, if you have crews that are out there, you kind of want to see where they're at, what they're working on. You can kind of have them handle that process. But let's say you just want to go complete the work and you don't want to even be in the system that whole time. Like if you just want to, check things off as you go, you can, or you say, okay, I went through, I did all this route. I can come in and click, bulk actions and then complete the whole route. And that's going to mark all these jobs as completed. Then the only other thing that's left to do is to come in and basically, either charge the car on file or send out payment requests. The other thing I'll mention is if you click the start route button, this is going to pull up either Apple Maps or Google Maps or whatever you're working with, adding in all these addresses. So that way you have the entire route good to go. You don't have to kind of go back and forth, within the system. You can kind of, utilize your GPS within your mobile device, and you have everywhere you have to go for that day.
Man, and guys, I'm telling you that it made me so, it makes it so efficient. Like I said, and you can get free software, but the interface, and the ease of use is the convenience is just like your customer, guys. You expect a customer to sign up, make their life easier. It's the same way with this software. You want to sign up and you want to make your life easier.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that, the one other thing I'll mention, let's say, weather, right? We talked about rescheduling route. You're doing job by job. You can reschedule the whole route as well. So if you wanted to adjust the schedule, if it is a washout for that day and you want to shift them, you can adjust all these jobs in this day by just, switching them over to a new day. And then it'll prompt and give the option. And then you'll see that entire route has been rescheduled. So you can click over for the 14th. There's all the jobs that we had for that date.
Now you got to work on Valentine's Day. Hey,
always, never stops. And yeah, so the last thing I'll mention here, like I'll just kind of pop in, you can see all these customers. If you want to build out routes, our team can kind of help you do that. You can populate, if you click create a route, you can click on these layers and you can, look at where all of our customers are. You can look at where all the jobs are at. So you can kind of see how you can look at building out your route density, right? Like, am I hopping all over the place, or do I have a lot of customers within a certain area? Maybe I need to kind of reorganize my routes and just optimize my travel time a little bit. And then, last piece is all about getting paid, right? So that's what everyone cares about at the end of the day. Again, you click in on these jobs, click this add button, click a payment. I'll come back and kind of show you one that I have on I know which one we're just working on, the Smith Mowing. If we hop in on this, we click add a payment. And then, you could send a payment method. We have our own payment processing company that we brought in over this last year. We did this because we want a little bit more control. We do still have Square and Stripe integrations, but the whole idea is if you have any issues with anything with the payments, we didn't have insight with what those issues were. So it takes a little bit working with a third party to go back and forth. Now we have all that in-house. We're also trying to basically beat their rates. So our locked-in rate is more competitive than what they offer. But we can even do custom rates. But you could even just use it if you are still collecting cash check, just want to record these payments. We have that functionality here. I know, like you mentioned earlier, Cash App, Zelle, Venmo, you can at least log those payments so that way you know how that payment came through that customer. And then that could be integrated with QuickBooks, for accounting purposes.
And that helped my accountant a lot this year. So I was able to, integrate stuff. And like I say, everything, you're almost paperless, guys. I used to walk into the office tax time with just a backpack almost. And it basically took me to where from a backpack to connecting a couple emails, they're able to see everything. It made their life easier. Dropped my tax payments also. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, you gotta have good record keeping. Otherwise you're gonna be scrambling come the time that the tax man's knocking on the door.
Josh, we call it in our industry, we call it chucking a truck. You don't want to be chucking a truck. You want to be the guy really running a business.
I know. Well, so I just kind of went through that. That was the process for charging a card on file. It's very quick to do. Whenever you have the card on file, you click the payment method, you click your pay, you click the card, you charge it. You can send it out if you want to collect tips. Especially if it's for like project work, I recommend maybe sending a payable invoice. Then the customer will be able to actually click open that. They can add tips within the system then and sign off on it. But this is the nice, easy way if you have that card on file. It's a pretty simple process to click add payment and then charge that method. But that's also how we charge on our different levels of YourAble, right? So we have an express plan which covers pretty much everything that I went through today, all the basic functionality. When you get to a pro and or enterprise level, we charge based off of automation. So all the basic functionality is there, but as you grow and want to automate some of the systems, we want to be able to grow with you in that same manner. So that's where you can get into things like custom forms. So you can embed a custom form, a quote request form on your website that you can customize all this information, what you want to collect, and that'll add them automatically as a new profile within your YourAble account. We also get into, like, on our enterprise plans, we get into workflows. So a lot of this process, like I click through, you can automate. So you can have a workflow that basically is built out for any time you create a quote, it'll automatically send an approval request. When the approval is approved, it'll automatically schedule. When the job's completed, it'll automatically charge the card on file. So then if you're going through this and truly automating everything, you go complete your route, all those cards are charged on file. That when you get home, you don't have to do anything. It's all done, right? You can actually just focus on life.
It looks all right. So guys who not so intimidated by the software, we all been there. Once you get it set up one time with everything he showed you, far as your size of your properties, what you charge for your rates of your mulch, once you get all this set up, the quotes. Once I do, I send out I get a email off my website. They want an estimate. I set the estimate up. I send it out for the quote. Once they approve it, they sign it. It's basically going straight to my schedule. Once it gets on schedule, I go take it out. Done, completion, money in the bank for me. You set it up one time. You don't worry about it. Set it, forget it. Get paid the right way. So
Absolutely. Yeah. And like I said, we have the teams in place. We over last year, we tripled our resources on development in addition to our customer support. We really hold our customer support at a high standard. It's called our customer success, actually, because we want you guys to be successful in running your business and also learning the software. Don't get stuck, right? So if it's something you want to try out, but you're concerned about learning software, we have the help here to help you guys learn it. It's not like you sending an email and not getting a response for a week. You can live chat with the team. You can book a meeting and hop on a meeting and walk through your account with them in particular. If you wanted to learn about some of the other functionalities within the system as your business continues to grow, you can book those calls with us. And that's something that's never going to go away. It's something we hold near and dear to just YourAble as a whole. So yeah, don't get stuck and don't be intimidated by software, because honestly, we're all given the same 24 hours in a day. You got to be efficient with it. And also you can't work your life away, right? I mean, you gotta be able to live outside of work. And that's really what we value. We want to, put together a system that automates some of the administrative processes that can really just help you get back to living life.
facts. Now, Josh, the last part. This is another part the guys are worried about. How much is it to sign up with YourAble? We talked about the
Absolutely.
free software. And guys, like I say, I had the free software. It only gets you so much. You get what you pay for. So Josh is going to break this down, and I'm going to tell you why it makes sense after Josh breaks this down.
Absolutely. So, in the US here, we have two options. You can do monthly or yearly. There's no commitment on this. You can sign up this month, cancel the next month. We do offer a free 30-day trial where you can sign up and test it out, so you can kind of get up and running with it. But with 3 plans, like I mentioned about earlier: Express, $50 a month, $100 a month for Pro, Enterprise is $200. The biggest thing is like those automated messages are all included, but if you wanted to actually be able to message back and forth right within the app, you can add a 2-way texting number so the customers can respond and you can go back and forth. We include that with the enterprise plan. And like I said, this is more of like automating everything. If you wanted to have everything automated, this is our enterprise plan. But $50 a month for software, that's one property extra. And I think you will see, just by getting systems in place, you can be way more efficient, that you're going to add way more than one job. Like, I know we're heavy in the automotive space, but the data is legitimate. So in the first year of use with YourAble, our users experienced 58% growth in revenue with their businesses.
Josh, and I'll be clear. I had a bad year in 2023. 2024, I was rebuilding. I think I did like 44,000. I think this year I'm doing like 93. So it's basically a double, guys. And I was able to double it because of this system. You guys know I try to be as transparent as I can with you. 200 a month. Let me tell you what that is. That's one customer. That's one customer in a neighborhood. Now, let's just say you've got 44 customers, guys. One customer's paying for this software now. One customer, what this also does is this one customer is paying for an employee, in my eyes, in my experience. This paid for basically a secretary for me. This paid for, like you say, somebody doing my administration work. Once I set it one time, I didn't have to worry about the whole season. Whenever it got to raining, I was able to switch it around. I'm able to see where everything's going on my end. Another thing, my customer is able to see. So it's no hidden anything between me and my customer. We're both satisfied. 200 a month, guys. Come on now. That is like I say, I can't speak on the Pro or Express, just me. I want to be the best in the business. I want to be the most efficient I can be. And also, Josh, let me throw in one more thing.
Yep.
YourAble helped me. You can't see it because we're on green screens, but YourAble helped me become the #1 service provider lawn care as far as reviews in my business last year,
That's awesome.
which was huge for me. And so now I'm able to add on more customers again. You still got to get out here. You got to do the work, but you have to do what makes sense. Don't make your life harder, guys. Just don't do it. You get what you pay for. You're only going to get so much with free stuff. A customer's only going to get so much from you with free work. I mean, it's the same thing. That's how you got to do it. It's not personal. It's business.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, that's awesome. I didn't even know about your area in the reviews. This is the first time I'm hearing about that. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, I ended up winning the #1 review lawn care for 2025 off Google reviews. I'm gonna try to make it again in 2026 and do a follow-up year, but I will get my hats off, and a lot of it goes to YourAble, that system. I put it in, I believe, March, beginning of last year, and it changed my business. Guys, I'm telling you, it changed my business. This is a real guy with a real testimony, with real problems, real bills, real family, real kids. It changed my business. And only thing I can see is the trajectory going up. So where do you want to be at?
Amazing.
Where do you see yourself at? Hey, I'm here for it. I'm trying to give it to you guys, introduce you guys. I want to see you guys win. I want to see every year be your best out here. And
absolutely,
the best option, I believe, right now is YourAble. And I'm just speaking on what it's done for me in my life and my business. So
no, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. We're small family owned company, now family operated. We still keep that near and dear to our hearts. But we do care about you guys, right? And that's the other part of it. I'll throw that out there. We do development in-house. We've had a lot of big projects in the automotive space, but we're still newer to lawn care space, but we're not going anywhere. That's part of the reason with the acquisition that happened this last year is we wanted to have security in this space, and we're here for the long run. So, as you guys, see things in the system that you want changes, that's how we build out everything within here is from user feedback. If there's stuff you want, I mean, you and I went back and forth with stuff.
I'll tell you guys, if you guys I'm talking about any problem, anything going wrong, you shoot it over to these guys, they're going to go to work on it. They are here for you, just like it goes back again, because it's a chain. It's everything interconnects with each other.
Yep.
The same way that we're here to support our customers, I'm telling you, YourAble's here to support us. Anything that goes wrong, anything you see, hey, I was using this on this and I couldn't, I wish you guys integrated. I guarantee you shoot it over to the team, give these guys 30 days. If they ain't got you an upgrade, update back on what's going on, they already got it updated in the system. Yep. So you don't get this with software, guys. These guys are like, they're here for us. They're here for us. And hats off to them for that. So anything else you want to say, Josh?
No, I mean, don't let your own thoughts and fears or concerns, block you from growing as a business, right? I think that's a lot of times it's all what's in our own head. That's our own limiting factors. I'm not saying that YourAble is going to be right for everyone. Just get systems in place because, I've been there before. I saw it with my dad growing up, worked his butt off at a 9 to 5, came home working, then extra jobs. We did landscaping, we did lawn care. For about 10 years of that. It's a lot. And, you guys have to also have time to just live life, right? There's more to life than working. I think, just take the time, especially in the off season, it's the perfect time to kind of explore systems, see what's out there. Just check it out. There's no risk to it, right? You sign up for a free trial, connect with our team for a demo, just dive in and see what you think. If it's for you, cool. If not, that's fine as well, right? But there's tons of systems out there. You're still doing things by pen and paper. Modernize, please, right? Get up with the times with this. And just, I think the biggest thing is just focus on, growing yourself and growing your business. And hopefully we can be the tool that helps you get there. But yeah, we're here to help with any questions.
Let me translate it again to him, Josh, because you said you had a 58% increase in guys who switched YourAble.
In revenue, yeah. So this is across all of our users, yeah. Also in the automotive space, but you know, just like you said for your example, right? If you are able to just
Yeah,
get
go ahead.
more efficient with the way that you're managing things on the back end, it focuses that gives you more time to do more jobs, right? If you can do more jobs because everything else is automated, you're not coming home having to take care of the office stuff. You can just focus on the work. You can get more jobs done in the same hours throughout the day.
Yeah, and I'll say it actually helped my schedule too, Josh, where I wasn't mowing 6 days a week. You know, I had off days where I was able to pick up extra work, but I really set a schedule. I tried to Monday, 4 days a week mowing. You're
Yeah,
able to help me do that and narrow it down. And when he said 58%, I'm gonna break it down to like, say if you made 50,000, that's like saying you're gonna make 75,000 this year almost. Just you just do those numbers right there, and you say, I made an extra 25 grand. What's 200 a month?
yep.
So break it down like that. I mean, a lot of you guys have been stuck right there for years. You don't want to be there, man. I'm 5 years in. Like I say, I had a truck get repoed a couple years ago. I had to create a system. I created a system, and it's made me like want to do this even more now. So,
That's awesome.
guys, check out YourAble. I'll make sure I got the link down in the description. Like you say, if something's not for you, it's not for you. But I suggest you try the 30-day trial. Try the 30-day trial and just take one of your new customers and go ahead and sign them up and rock out with it for the year, and you won't regret it. So appreciate you coming on, Josh, man. And
Absolutely. Appreciate the
you
time.
guys stay tuning in, man. And also go back and look on the videos. I got an older video with Josh that we did on the Mo Trapping podcast. If you want to go back and check out that one again, the link will be in the description, like I said. And you guys make 2026 your best. I'm going to 2027 with the same problems, same bad system. Get paid the right way and take it to the next level. Appreciate you, Josh, for checking in.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yep.